Welcome, everyone, to the Real Hawk Talk post-game show of the Cardinals and Seahawks. What an embarrassing game. What an embarrassing game. As you can see, I'm wearing my Seahawks jersey, indicative of how the Seahawks played today. I'm drinking wine because the Seahawks are making me drink wine based off of how they played today. We'll have Brian joining in a few. This jersey is highly uncomfortable. But what an awful performance. If you weren't watching, the Cardinals win 27-13. The Cardinals dominated what seemed like mostly the entire game. Coaching was a problem. Players were a problem. Injuries were a problem. Coaching decisions were a problem. Chris Carson left the game. CJ Procise left the game. Pass pro was complete garbage. Russell Wilson missed some throws. Timeout usage was garbage by Seattle. I said this on Twitter, and I think this is true. I think this was one of the worst games of the Pete Carroll era. You have the number one seed on the line. The Seahawks entered today, what was it? 12-3. So now they're 12-4 or whatever. The number one seed on the line. Got Kyler Murray, who leaves the game early, halfway through the game. So you're playing against a backup quarterback for most of the game. One seed on the line. First round bye on the line. Home field advantage on the line. And they got kicked in the throat. They got punched in the throat at home. And for those of you who are watching the stream, no, I haven't been crying. My soul has been crying, but I got LASIK, so that's why my eyes are extremely red. I regret getting LASIK. I didn't want to see this game as clearly as I did. I wish I was blind, actually, so I didn't have to watch this Seahawks game. But this was one of the worst games of the Pete Carroll era. I don't even have many words. That's how disgusted I am. Completely unprepared. Pass pro was a joke. Russell Wilson could never get in rhythm. And you know what? Oddly enough, I actually don't blame the defense as much as other people do. And just while we're waiting for Brian to join, I'll give a little bit of more reasoning to that. The Seahawks defense was never good in the first place. They were never the strong focal point of this team. This team's defense really sparked a turnaround when Quandre Diggs was acquired and took a few weeks to get healthy. He has been a huge catalyst for that defense. But outside of that, you have Clowney injured, you have Bobby Wagner injured, you have a ton of guys missing on the defense. And while I rant about the defense, Brian Nemhauser joins the show. Brian, how are you?
Hey, good, man. It's myself and Isaac, so you might hear comments from both of us.
What's up, guys?
That is fine. I appreciate commentary from both of you. You guys were at the game, is that right?
We were, and I don't know if you've been listening to the Pete Carroll press conference, but it is worse than the game.
Oh, tell me. I have not been watching.
Well, I missed some of the news. You might want to check Twitter, but I'm pretty sure Dwayne Brown is out next week as well. I think I heard something about an operation. I think I heard CJ Procise broke his arm.
That definitely happened, bro.
Is out. Chris Carson's not expected back next week.
Oh, really?
Yep, hip. I don't know. I caught a few of those things before we got on. So yeah, it's everything's roses here.
I've been ranting for the past 10 minutes, so I'm sure people are sick of me talking, but how are you feeling, Brian? What's your take after this game?
Like it's just not that surprising, right? Like I know, like, what did I tell you this week about this game? Do you remember what my prediction was for the game?
Did you say trap game? I don't remember.
No. I said the Seahawks had to score 30 points to win this game. They were gonna, and what I predicted was that they were gonna win 30-27. So that was, I was definitely wrong about that. But this offense needed to score at least 30 points in this game against that defense at home, and they didn't come close. So, I mean, and this team overall, there's not a lot of depth, and the depth they have, or the players they have that start are always not always consistent, and it's been a tightrope the whole year, and most of the time they've gotten to the other side safely, but when you had all those injuries, it just ends up like, man, it was bad. That was really bad. So I don't have a lot of good things to say about it. Depending on what the injuries are next week, I mean, this offensive line, there is no way in hell the Seahawks can stand up to a 49ers defense with this offensive line as it currently stands. And
doesn't seem like it can get much better, though.
Yeah, and I don't know what they're going to do running the ball either. So, I'm not the guy that's the fount of optimism right now for Seahawks fans. The best thing I can say is it looks like the Seahawks are going to get to play the Eagles in the first round.
So it looks like Dwayne Brown, I'm just reading the tweets right now, is actually out for the season for a fact.
Is that what it is?
Bob Kadada just tweeted, Carroll says Chris Carson is out for the season. Dwayne Brown also done. End of sentence. We'll have surgery tomorrow.
Yeah, that's what I thought he said.
I don't even have words, Brian. I don't even have words right now. That's how
Are you wearing the trash bag like I saw on Twitter?
I'm wearing the trash bag right now. Actually, it's not a trash bag. It's my Seahawks jersey. It's reflective of how they played today.
You're giving all the opposing fans all sorts of like ammunition, man. Like, you got to wear a Seahawks jersey. What are you, a Browns fan? You wear like a paper bag on your head? I mean, come on.
To be honest, I don't give a fuck. Other team fans are the last of my concern right now. To be honest, just to circle back on your point about the injuries, Brian, I would have not been okay with the loss from today, but those injuries, highlighted by Pete Carroll in the post-game conference, are pretty devastating, especially with Dwayne Brown's injury. I think, obviously, the Chris Carson injury is also huge for this offense. But
all right, I'll give you a hot take. Evan.
Okay.
I think the Seahawks lost the MVP of their offense, as it has been for the last 6 weeks today. I think Chris Carson is more important to this offense right now than Russell Wilson.
Yeah, that's not true, but we can agree to disagree.
Over the last 6 weeks, man, I think this team, you just go back to last week against Carolina. When they were struggling and they couldn't get big plays, who was it that was turning in first downs, ending the game?
Well, you're not going to hear me argue that Russell Wilson has been good over the last month and a half. You're definitely not going to get me saying that. So
you're not going to get me saying, sorry, what do you say?
You're not going to get me defending Russell Wilson's play over the past 6 weeks.
Oh, yeah, I'm not even hating on Russell there. The way the offense, like, people can take that as a shot at Russell, and I get it. For me, the way the offense is working from a pass perspective overall, and there's lots of reasons an offense doesn't work, a passing offense doesn't work. Today, I think the offensive line was at least 60% of the reason that the offense wasn't working.
They don't have to defend or run at all. It's pretty one-dimensional offense.
Right, and I think that what was working today early on was running the ball, and then when Chris Carson got hurt, it was like they had no answer. So I don't know how valuable Russell Wilson is with the state of the way the passing game is right now. And part of that is on him. Part of it is. But I would not say, I don't even know if half of it is his fault.
Brian, the defense has actually sort of been a controversial talking point on Twitter today. What's your take on the defensive performance from today? Obviously, a lot of guys missing with Clowney, Diggs, Bobby Wagner playing injured. What's your take
Here's
on
the
their performance?
thing. Everyone, I see the most common comment I'm seeing is this was like a preseason performance. I'm like, yeah, because they were playing preseason players. Like, these are guys.
There's a guy you looked up mid-game that you'd never heard of.
Well, yeah, Ryan Neal was in there on special teams. I have no idea who that is. And I, am an obsessed fan that follows all their transactions. It's the first time in over a decade a guy's gone on the field, and I had to look up who it was. Like, I had no idea who that was. And, you've got LJ Collier in there taking lots of snaps. You've got Brian Monet playing a lot of snaps. You've got Lano Hill, who is – I did not realize how slow he was. I mean, he looked so bad on that Drake touchdown run. So, I mean, look, if people want to hate on the defense, that's fine. But going into this game, I expected the Cardinals to score 27 points. Like, they scored 27 points. Now, granted, Brett Hundley was part of that, and I didn't expect that to be the case. But that's how bad the defense is. This is one of the worst defenses in the NFL unless they have all of their players and unless those players are playing well. Quandre Diggs and Jadeveon Clowney are out. This defense has very little chance of stopping anybody.
I 100% agree. I think the expectations of the defense should be extremely lukewarm. The burden for success from this team is on the offense. I know Dwayne Brown was out today. I know we've lost Will Dissly. I know we've lost Justin Britt. I know Chris Carson and CJ Prosise both left the game. But at the end of the day, I actually still expect this offense to perform against one of the worst defenses in the NFL. Yes, Chandler Jones is good. Yes, he has 16 sacks this year. But guess what? The Cardinals have a bottom 3 defense. Are you telling me they can't are you telling me this team can't put up more than fucking 10 points against them? They didn't move the ball for 3.5 quarters. I personally am willing to excuse the defensive injuries. I'm willing to excuse the defensive performance. I think holding high expectations for the defense is actually sort of misguided. The burden is on the offense for this team to be successful. And they were shit today. It was disgusting. It was despicable.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the way I felt about the Seahawks all year is they are just they're very thin. It's like a remodel where someone just resurfaces the cabinets instead of replaces them. And, there's really not much beyond the surface there. And as soon as something folks, as soon as you get some break somewhere in that and you get into the next level of talent or next level of players, it's just not ready. They're not ready. So look, I mean, their best 2 players on defense are guys they had to trade for this year, into the season really, with Clowney and Diggs.
Yeah,
that says a lot about the quality of talent on that defense.
And just to clarify, bring some evidence to my point about the Cardinals defense, since some people in the chat don't believe me. Pro Football Focus has them as the 31 ranked overall defensive grade. They are a bottom 3 pass coverage unit. They actually have a decent pass rush. They're in the top 10, but otherwise this is a pretty bad defense outside of Chandler Jones. So disappointing day, man. I was ranting for 15 minutes before you joined the call, in a very depressed, wine drunk mood. So
I hear you, dude, and you should let it all out because look, it is disappointing. I mean, my expectations have been tempered about this team, and they're just hard to fall in love with because you just there's so much you see you don't like and you don't believe in, but they kept winning and they keep doing things, and I just wanted them to beat a really bad Cardinals team just so we could have this week of build up to a game against the 49ers. It was going to be prime time and just a lot to look forward to. I don't know about you, dude. I'm not really looking forward to that game very much.
Are you still going to it next week?
Oh yeah, of course. But I mean, I think it wouldn't shock me if somehow the Seahawks play well in that game. It would not shock me. I'm not predicting it, but it would not shock me.
It also wouldn't shock me if they lose by like 50.
Yeah, I don't know if 50, but they definitely.
You
the
know,
49ers are good enough to run them out of
Get blown out.
their home. Yeah,
Brian, you know who takes the biggest loss tonight? Do you know who?
Who?
Your wallet for when I follow through on our DK Metcalf bet at Matador, and I drink 17 margaritas to drink away the pain from this Seahawks misery.
Oh my God, yeah, that's going to be the after the 49ers game, right?
Oh Jesus! It is the 3 days after, I think. So either it'll be celebratory drinks or it will be depression drinks. So.
Oh boy. Well, you know what? I will be happy to pay for any kind of liquid therapy I can offer you, dude.
Any positives you can take away from this game? I know that's so hard to ask for, but is there anything?
Oh wow. Travis Homer looked okay.
Jason
Myers made a 50-yard field goal.
He did indeed.
Rasheem Green blocked a field goal. He keeps making plays now and then. What else?
Is Rasheem Green the breakout player of the year for you?
Jacob Hollister once again played well.
Is Rasheem Green the breakout player of the year for you?
It's hard to call it breakout. I mean, that's like, if he's breaking out, he's doing it like 5 miles an hour. He's not like a rocket ship at this point. So,
he does lead the team in sacks, and he does have like 3 or 4 forced fumbles. That's not.
Do you know that? Like, I don't know which team. I think it was the Cowboys. They tweeted out their top 5 players in sacks, and every one of them had more sacks than the Seahawks' top sack.
Oh my God.
I mean, we're going to look in the offseason, and we're just going to spend the whole offseason going, how the hell did they win 11 games?
You're not wrong.
I mean, it's when they lose, this is the way it's hard not to look at them this way and just be like, man, they've got needs all over the place. And when they win, it's like, wow, Russell and, the coaching and that, they just figure out a way to overcome it all. And then it's like, yeah, I don't know. So I hate tuning into shows where everyone's all negative and, you want to have some hope, but I also don't like tuning into shows when people are having unrealistically positive points of view on stuff. So,
yeah, and actually, on that note, we have a bit more detail on Dwayne Brown. It sounds like he's going to be out 2 weeks. So
2 weeks?
Yeah.
Well, that's better than the whole season, but that might be the whole season.
So it's like what I'm reading is and I'm just reading real quick on Twitter, if they get past the wild card, it looks like they will have him.
What I'm saying is it says Dwayne Brown needs knee surgery. Yeah, but it looks the question of how long it'll take him to recover. Gotcha. All right. So the other positive, this is a real stretch, is that Al Woods, can come back before the NFC Championship now, or come back to the NFC Championship if they make it that far instead of the Super Bowl, because they're going to have an extra playoff game most likely to play. So this was game 1. Next week will be game 2, and then you figure 2 games into the playoffs. And as long as the Seahawks win, they can get Al Woods back for the NFC Championship.
Yeah, don't even get me started on that. Don't even get me started on that suspension. I'm pissed as fuck.
I know, right? I mean, he really let the team down. Really let the team down.
Brian, I don't think people realize how big of a loss Al Woods is. He was like the 7th ranked defender on this defense, and like actually a pretty strong run stopper. Like, he is not a schmuck. Like, he has been a contributor all year long.
He's made a lot of big plays this year. And I mean, seriously, I know we went through it all, but Al Woods, Jadeveon Clowney, Shaquille Griffin, Quandre Diggs, Kendricks is playing but isn't fully healthy. Like, it's there's a lot of guys out, and yeah. Oh man. Well, look, I'm probably gonna be getting home here in a minute. So we don't have to do a long show, but I just wanted to at least call in and.
No, I appreciate it, Brian. Thanks for giving me your unfiltered emotions after this devastating loss. So
yeah.
With that said, folks, we will be back Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Pacific time. The Seahawks are playing the 49ers at home week 17 for the NFC West title. The week is here. The week of puking is here. The week of anxiety, the week of stress is finally here. And the Seahawks are coming off a week where they not only accept a loss, but are dealing with some pretty major injuries to some of their star players. So with that said, see you guys 8 p.m. Pacific time on Wednesday night, and go Hawks. See you guys later.